Hi guys, this is a podcast I did with my friend Emily Davis. We sat down about 2 weeks ago. She's a singer-songwriter from El Paso. She's an artist I feel like a lot of people can learn from. If it's your first time coming to this channel, my name is Jesus Herrera. I make comedy videos, mostly a running vlog. Literally, it's a vlog about me running, but it's done in such an absurd way to be filled with a lot of funny half-truths. And if you like Emily after this conversation, make sure that you follow her on all the things. And thank you. So, how was Dakeju last night?
It was good. It's actually Daikaiju, but
Daikaiju.
close enough. They're
Oh, like the Japanese monster.
Yeah, exactly. They're wild. They're such nice dudes. They're also like their live performances are beyond. Like they play like kind of like surf rock punk kind of stuff, and they're very talented. But they also just like they get crazy. They wear like these cool masks. They'll like have audience members lift them up on chairs or just with their hands, and they'll just play. They light shit on fire. Like it's pretty rad. It was great. And then we had a really.
You also did a Neon Desert. Right?
We did, yeah. We played on Sunday, the 26th, on the Paso del Norte stage.
It's the first time I went.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, you were there, huh? Did I saw you,
No,
right?
you didn't.
Oh, I didn't see you?
No.
I thought you were. I thought you didn't go on Sunday?
I didn't say hi to you in Neon Desert, but I was there that day you performed. I think I got there late because you were early on, right?
I feel like I saw you recently somewhere. Okay, well.
It was at Neon Rose, probably.
Oh, yeah. That's what it was, my God. Get my neons confused. But yeah, that was a fun, it's
I was
nice.
only there for Lovely the band.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the only reason you went?
And you too. I didn't mean to like insult you or anything.
But I mean, I get it. Like, you know, there's sometimes where they have one or two acts that you're really into, and so that's why you go. And maybe the other ones you're like, oh, I'll see. So, but yeah, I get you. We went for us. But you know, no, like both shows are really cool. This is the third time I've been involved with Neon Desert.
Have you done it all consecutively 3 years?
Oh no, I think they kind of try to mix it up. I think sometimes there's bands that might play more frequently, but I was in a band called Emily Davis and the Altar Boys back in 2012.
Emily Davis and the Altar Boys?
Yeah, it didn't last super long. I just released my album Dark Matter, and you know, I can play those songs by myself, but it's a lot more fun to play them with people, and so I formed that band. We were around for the majority of the year, and then we disbanded at the end of the year.
Were there Christian lyrics in it, or?
Oh no!
No.
The joke being that I'm very obviously not Christian.
Yeah.
There are a handful of my songs that are pretty clear indicators of that. But all three of my bandmates were either Christian or Catholic, and they are open-minded enough that they didn't really care about what I was singing about, and we had good friendships, so it was all good. But it was kind of funny, and the Emily Davis being me, and then the Altar Boys, you know. So, plus there's kind of like a little inappropriate kind of joking going on there too, so I don't know.
Didn't you also do something called Cool Moms?
Yeah, briefly. That was, it was a lot of fun, and it would have been cool to keep it going a little longer. We had like 4 or 5 songs. And the band was made up of both Jose and George that are currently in Emily Davis and the Murder Police with me.
Uh-huh.
And then Javier Martinez, who is a local singer-songwriter. He played guitar. And then a guy named Lalo, who was in the band too. This was back in 2016, and I'd had like the desire to do it for a few years prior. The whole tagline being, we're not a regular band, we're a cool band. Kind of like the quote from what's that movie with Lindsay Lohan that I'm blanking on? Mean Girls. Yeah, so the idea was just writing a bunch of songs about being a slutty mom. We had like a song called I'll Fuck Your Football Friends. We had one called Let's Share Clothes. Yeah, so Yeah, it was fun. We played a few shows, and then the Murder Police went on like a month-long tour. And so when we came back, it was just
Uh-huh. Did you get that from the John Mulaney bit?
we did. That's exactly where we got it. Yeah, most people don't know that, so it's nice when somebody does. Totally. That was actually the tour, the one I just referred to, where we kind of came up with the name because before we were figuring it out. We were still touring off of my third album that I released the year before. But we get really stupid and we'll watch the Chappelle Show, a bunch of clips, or we'll watch a bunch of Key and Peele, or different stand-up comedy, and we for whatever reason we were quoting John Mulaney left and right, especially that bit. That's like one of our favorite bits by him. And we'll quote it to the point that if people outside of the band heard us, they'd probably get annoyed. We watch the same shit over and over, and so we were in a hotel room somewhere quoting that bit, and I think at some point...
He's one of the best.
He's amazing, he's brilliant. But we were quoting that at a hotel room, and at one point I was just like, what about him?
Is that your favorite comedian?
Oh, he's one of them. I don't know if he's my favorite. I have a lot of ones that are my favorites, but yeah, that's where it came from. That's why the Murder Police are here. So.
You can't, could you say, like, what are your top, like, comedians that you know about? That you like, that's your favorite?
I think about that. I love Doug Stanhope.
Yes.
I fucking love.
You know, just past Monday, I was hanging out with one of Doug Stanhope's best friends, Andy Andrist.
Oh, really? I don't know if I'm familiar with him.
Yeah, basically, Doug Stanhope mentions him in his latest book, This Is Not Fame.
Okay.
And he's talking about how this guy was kind of like inspiration to him, and how he got a lot of his cadence and the way he delivers his jokes from Andy. And if you listen to Andy Andrus' album "Dumbing It Down for the Masses," you can hear a lot of, okay, I can kind of see how Doug Stanhope took this guy's cadence.
He's so good.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Kyle Kinane. I really enjoy Kurt Metzger. Bill Burr obviously is a legend. Trying to think of other ones. Those are some. I mean, Dave Chappelle obviously is brilliant.
Yeah, I saw him when he was here at the Chavez Theater.
I was so tempted. Those tickets were expensive, and I just was kind of broke at the time. But yeah, I'm sure that was dope. Might not be kosher to say, but I was obsessed with Louis C.K. for years.
Yeah.
Say what you
Me
will
too.
about his behavior, but you can't deny that man is funny as fuck. So.
I'm so glad you say that. Not a lot of girls are willing to admit that. They're like, no, he should burn in hell forever.
Well, I mean, what he did was gross, and I'm not for it. But I think it's disingenuous to suddenly be like, you were never funny because you beat off in front of people. That's stupid. Clearly he's funny. Clearly he got to the place he was because he's a funny fucking dude.
Oh My God is one of my favorite comedy specials of all time.
You know, the one he released in, it was called 2017. The year he got busted was, I think, 2017.
Yeah, that one was okay.
I loved it. Chewed Up is top notch for me also. Chewed Up's really good. That's the one that got me into him, I think. So, yeah.
I forget which special it was, but there's one where he's talking about autopsy people donating your body to science, and then what about an old lady that donated her body to science, and then you're the student that gets an F on that body. Your instructor just writes a big old F on it, on the tit.
One of my favorite ones that me and my bandmates quote a lot, is the one where he's talking about God coming back and checking out humanity and just being like, what the fuck did you do? The polar bears are brown. What did you do to the polar bears? So good. Yeah.
And I love that, sometimes it's a big idea that he condenses to one word, and I really like that.
Yeah. Dude's great. I love stand-up. What's his face that just released a new one? He's so irreverent.
Anthony Jeselnik.
He's funny. Sometimes it's oh fuck, you did say that, but I mean, again, it's a joke. You have to remember, but he's good. I love his arrogance too. Sometimes I know that people might take it the wrong way, but I think it's part of the humor, and it's good. So.
Yeah, Fire in the Maternity Ward.
Yeah. I like Maria Bamford a lot too.
Mm.
She's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of good comedians out there.
I respond to her a lot because I really appreciate her openness. She has bipolar disorder, and she talks very openly, and it's kind of a part of her brand, I think.
You got that too, right?
Yeah, I do.
When were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed in 2017. And it's what I've heard, it's kind of weird, is that most people don't get diagnosed until they're in their late 20s or maybe early 30s, you know. It often gets conflated for something else, usually just depression or I don't know. But yeah, I went through a rough period, and I went to UBH for a bit, and was not expecting that. Was expecting to be told that I, had depression again or whatever. But when they said bipolar, I didn't really believe it at first, and it just took a matter of me kind of like having to reassess my life and certain moments in my life where I was clearly manic. And it's not very often I have bipolar 2. It's the more depressive side, yay. But I have experienced moments of hypomania, and it was just something I failed to realize, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of an important issue to me too. That's why I relate to her a lot, and I appreciate her openness with it, because a lot of people don't want to be. They feel discouraged, and it's not like I want to put my life on display, but I've been given an opportunity to have, it's not a huge fan base, but I have enough people that follow me that, if you could start a conversation about something that's important to you, why not do it? So try to be open with it too.
Did you see Kanye West's new album? He has a comment on bipolar disorder right on there on the front of that album.
I haven't. I shared actually an article where people were reacting to, I guess he had an interview that I still haven't seen, but I guess he was talking in the interview about having bipolar disorder, and maybe that was a way for him to try to explain away some of the recent behaviors he's had in the last few years. But yeah, I saw the article. I didn't know he released a new album or anything. And so again, I'm appreciative of anybody who's willing to put their neck out there, and tell people what the deal is. But also, like, he said some stuff that's just like, I don't know, man. Like, that doesn't
especially
sound.
all that slavery stuff.
Yeah, you can't blame that on bipolar. I'm bipolar, and I've said, I've overshared before when I'm manic, but I'm oversharing like things that maybe are really a part of me that I believe. I'm not just gonna say stuff like that. You know what I mean? If it's not a part of you, you're not gonna say it. And I don't know, like that's.
Yeah. The thing he wrote is, I suffer from bipolar disorder. It's awesome.
Huh. I don't know about that. I would say that if I had to do it over, I wouldn't change. I think that being bipolar has really inspired me. Certainly creatively. I think when you have a persistent mental health issue that forces you to contemplate the world in a different way, and it forces you, because ultimately we're here to survive, right? And so dealing with bipolar in the way that people do is ultimately a survival mechanism, and for me that's often been through creative means, and so I don't know if I would be the creative person I am without it. You know what I mean? It's not awesome. There have been some really shitty moments where it would have been preferable to, not have it. But again, if the benefit is I get to make art and relate to people through it, then I wouldn't call it awesome. I'd call it an option. I don't know.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen House of Leaves yet? That book? How'd you find out about that book, House of Leaves? Or you just heard it in a passing comment?
I had an old roommate who read it and was like really on fire about it. I've never read it. It's been on my reading list for a while, but I mean,
You know what? As a bookworm, as someone who reads a lot, I gotta say that is a really great book because it does so many things that a normal book wouldn't do.
yeah,
So many things.
such as.
It's got like so. The basic conceit is it's kind of like a documentary film, but in book form. So
Okay.
it follows the lives of this Navidson family who buy a house for the first time and they start noticing all these weird and strange things about it.
Right.
The first thing they notice is that the inside of the house is bigger than the outside of the house.
Yeah, I remember him telling me that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so as the house begins to shift, words on the page begin to shift as well.
That's interesting. That reminds me of like something that Kurt Vonnegut would do, because like in his books you would see like a story take a certain shape, and he would kind of do that as well, sort of. So incorporating like different ways of writing things and art and stuff. So I like when the book takes you to that place also, without not just only in text form.
Yeah, and it's got like two major tones that it has. One is kind of like a research type tone that you would read if you're reading like something on a college essay. And then the other tone is like more informal, kind of like Chuck Palahniuk Fight Club type style.
No, yeah, I love Chuck Palahniuk.
Yeah.
I've only read like 2 or 3 of his books.
Yeah, which ones?
I've read Haunted.
I'm in the midway of reading that
right
now.
It's fantastic. I love the setup. Sometimes you just want to like. Sometimes a story's good enough that you're engrossed in it, but it almost feels like you have to like keep up with it. What I love about Haunted is that there's
there's
like,
a
continuum, but there's also like bites.
I call it mini games, just like mini games within the book.
Yeah, I read Smut. Haunted Smut.
Not Snuff?
Snuff. I'm sorry, my brain. I'm tired. Snuff is what it's called. Oh my god, I read Snuff. That book is fucking wild.
Yeah, I read that. I have it right now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
Dude, it's fucking wild.
And then just like throws in random facts.
I think I've read another one, but it's not coming.
I think the craziest fact I heard from Snuff was that Hitler used dildos as a tactic to get people sex addicted or something like that. Yeah, we'll just throw sex toys at them and they'll be too busy fucking them that we can just take over.
Yeah.
Go Nazis.
I mean, distraction is one way of doing things, and I think we're doing that in our country a lot. So I mean, I think it's if we want to take over people, then that's one way to do it. Distract them with something or multiple things.
Well, it's like social media nowadays, isn't that the most? How do you balance getting like distracted on social media and posting on social media because of what you do?
I have a love-hate relationship with it. A couple of years ago, I cut it off completely. I wasn't making music. I was kind of burnt out. I had started going back to school, and when I went back into school, it was like my mentality was, I'm going all in. I'm not going to go in and half-ass this, because then I worry that I'll waste my time and I'll drop out and I won't accomplish anything. So I'm going all in. If I don't get nothing but A's, I'm going to be pissed. And so part of that was me I also was just bored. I felt like it was too much of a presence. And so I got rid of all of it except for Reddit. I didn't post on anything. And then, once I started making music again, you have to realize that this is the day and age we're in. I mean, you can be a great band, but you have to constantly engage with people in order to remind them that you're there and that you're doing shit. Otherwise, they'll again get distracted with everything. And so I came back knowing that I had to kind of start engaging with social media again. And I've always been slightly insecure, and so it's easy for me to get lost in, are people reacting to this? Are they watching this video? Are they going? Is there a reaction from this post that'll make them go and check out my music or something? And then I also have to remember that part of it is just you're supposed to have fun and be real, and express yourself. And so I do it and I'm involved in it, but I don't want to always live in that world. And I see people who are literally always on their phone. Yeah. And I sometimes I'll be on my phone and I'm just like, I'm just going back and forth between Facebook, Instagram, and Reddit. Like, what the fuck? I don't need to do this. Like, write a song, do something else. And so.
Have you tried meditating?
Too many noises, man. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't ever want to be one of those people that are just like this all day long. That's missing out on a lot. That's true. Like there's a lot of reasons why people are on their phones. There's plenty of superficial reasons. You know, if you're just on Facebook all day or Instagram, then that might be part of your job, and so ultimately you're being productive. But you can. There's this little tiny box that you have right in front of you, and you can learn almost totally infinite things. There's so much information out there that you could literally start right now and spend the rest of your life just learning on your phone. It's brilliant. And so there are things and apps that you can do to engage your mind, to communicate with people.
Opening up 20 tabs on Google Chrome.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I live your life, experience the world around you, but I get why people are on their phones a lot. Sometimes for some people it's you know, it's their business, they have to, and for other people they're
looking at dumb shit.
Or they're learning or doing something important. So I mean, I don't really judge people for what, you know, that's something that because I'm also a substitute teacher, and I'll have like older teachers come up to me and I'll hear them comment about and complain about these damn phones, and it's like, you know, as a millennial, I'm kind of in between these two generations. Most of the teachers that I've seen or are exposed to are either Gen X or boomers, although there are millennial teachers, as you are aware. And then you're looking at these Gen Z kids who are on their phones a lot. And part of me realizes that, yeah, maybe they're being distracted by something. Maybe they're on Snapchat all day, and hopefully that's not the case. But it's part of how they communicate now. It's part of their life. How do you expect otherwise? There's such a social pressure for them to engage on social media, right? And that's becoming like an integral part of their social life, you know? And so it's understandable. And also, I mean, being in high school is fucking stressful. I mean, being an adult's way more stressful, but it's still like you live in a fishbowl, and there's all these people shouting at you all day what to do. And I remember being in high school and I'd see a sub and I'd be like, thank God, I am so stressed out right now. I could just have a day where I'll be left to my own devices or whatever. And sometimes the subs would, you know, bark at you and stuff, but sometimes the sub would just say, as long as you're quiet, I don't give a shit. And I responded to that and I was grateful for it. So I try to be understanding with phones, you know. You have to be.
Yeah. That's not something the principal wants to hear.
Fire me. I try to maintain order, and I try to, you know, not take crap, and I try to, you know, advise, and I'll encourage them to work, but I'm also, you know, not their mom, not their boss, you know. Let the children breathe. They'll appreciate it and they'll respect you more.
So, wanted to talk about your Bad Religion stuff.
Cool.
So, what's it like that you got to open up for Bad Religion? How many times have you done it now?
So I've opened up for Bad Religion once. That's where I met you, I think, when they came to El Paso.
Yeah, probably around that time.
Yeah, in 2015. And then I toured with Greg Graffin for 4 dates in 2017. He released a solo album, and so he asked me to open for him, which was the biggest honor ever. It's weird because, you know, when I was 18, 19, 20, when I started doing Bad Religion covers, it was obviously I'm a very big fan, a very outspoken fan. They're clearly my favorite band. They're the reason that I've been able to keep making music. They can continuously inspire me and encourage me. And it's weird because when I was younger, obviously everyone dreams about opening for their favorite band if you're a musician. Like, that's a given. There's bands that you would just feel
I felt like I opened for like one of my favorites with Andy Andrist last Monday.
Yeah.
It was fucking epic.
Right?
And dude like gave me a compliment after I did my set in front of him, and like nothing feels better in the world as a comedian as hearing like one of your favorite comedians of all time tell you you're funny.
Right. And so, you know, having that validation is mind-blowing. And so, you know, that's the way that they became aware of me, is there was enough people watching the covers and telling them about me that I was suddenly on their radar, and I became, I would say, friends with Jay Bentley. He was the one who asked me to open for them when they came to El Paso. He's been a consistent supporter of mine, and yeah, and now Greg Graffin, like, I mean, you see people. I saw Bad Religion like a week or two ago in Ohio. I went to Camp Anarchy, and Jay let us backstage, me and my
Nice.
guitarist George. Yeah, and you look out in the audience and you see 2,000 kids who would just give one of their left nuts to like have 5 minutes to talk to Greg Graffin, right? And he comes up to me and he hugs me and says, "I thought that was you," and he gives me like a good hug and he says, "I hope you're doing all right." And like, of course, I'm trying to be like, yes, I am up here. I do music too. I respond to this also. But in my heart, I'm like, fuck, you know what I mean? And so it's wild, yeah. And I'm eternally grateful and very blessed. And I know that sounds like the stereotypical answer, but it's something that comes from the depths of my heart. Like, their music has quite literally saved my life, and doing their covers has allowed enough people to be interested in what I do as far as songwriting, and so that's something I'm very grateful for as well. Yeah, it's one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me. Hopefully it'll happen again. Keep your fingers crossed. No?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I remember like talking to you the first time. I guess you told me like you were really drunk, and then
Oh no.
and then I don't know. I guess like people don't do this often, but like you said, I don't know how much of this is a reoccurring thing, but like you said something and then you like quickly stood up and then crouched down and then went back up again. And I was like, I do not see that many people make those cartoony motions whenever they talk.
I get really animated. I think it's part of the ADHD mania, but also my bones sometimes hurt, so I might have very well been stretching. I have no idea.
My bones just popped right now when I did that.
Yeah.
That's good though. Just get those bubbles out.
Yeah.
What does your shirt say?
Oh, it says "No Masters," and it's like a cartoon of Dolby from Harry Potter.
Oh, I did not recognize Dobie there.
I have a guy who does our shirts, a local guy named Edgar. If you want to find out more about him, you could go to Instagram and find Sweatshop merch and or Edgar's Stupid Shirts. And he screen prints our shirts and stuff, but he also designs his own shirts, and he gave me this. It was actually on a big t-shirt that didn't fit me, and so I found another shirt and cut out the patch and sewed it on. But yeah, funny dude, hard worker, highly recommend him.
Nice. I got like all the Harry Potter books. Did you read them? That series?
I read the first two. And then honestly, my parents are cool enough that, I mean, I was raised super Christian, but they realized that like the books weren't like talking about Baphomet and slicing open wrists and shit, like demonry. It's just like a kid who like uses a wand to do shit. They call him a wizard or a witch. Like, it doesn't fucking. And so, of course, when I'm in elementary school, everyone's going around in my Christian school saying that Harry Potter is the demon. And then my mom comes home with like the first two books and she's like, "Here, these are popular, read them." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And they were great. I mean, J.K. Rowling knows how to write a book. And I enjoyed them. I inhaled both of them. And then for whatever reason, I just kind of didn't keep up with it. But I saw all the movies. They're great.
All 8 movies.
Snape, man, what a twist. Pretty dope.
I went to that wizarding world of Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
It is so great.
Yeah.
And they open up 2 new rides too. But just like the rides I saw, the new Harry Potter ride, I guess it's not so new. Whenever they opened up, they had it. But that ride is so intense. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to Universal Studios before.
Oh, man. The California one?
It's probably the same type of feel.
Because they have one in Florida and one in California, right?
Yeah.
I went to the California one, but this was like I was like 12, so.
Yeah, they got like giant screen projectors all around you, and they like actually show the visuals.
Wow.
For certain rides. For the Harry Potter ride, it's like
it's not a roller coaster. It's like you're on an axis and you're swiveling around. So you get like really immersed in the screen, and it feels like you're flying with Harry, Ron, and Hermione in the beginning.
Wow, that's awesome. Very cool. Very, very cool. I'll have to go to California sometime and check it out.
Oh, so what's your favorite? So what's touring like? What's your favorite cities? Not to
Oh.
put you on the spot or anything.
Um, Touring is. I wish we could do a lot more of it. The reality is that touring is expensive, and if you're not making a lot of money doing it, you have to have a day job, and so the dream is to not be in that position and to tour a lot more, and hopefully that'll be the case someday. But it's the best. I mean, there's not my two favorite things in the world are the day that you finish recording an album, and then the day you leave for tour. So it's a lot of work. I'm planning one right now, and I'm almost done with it. It's gonna be like 2 weeks in August, and so that's like the not fun part, organizing all of it and planning things out. But going on the road is great. It's a great mystery. When you're at our level, at least, where are you gonna stay that night? You know, what's the game plan? So some people might not enjoy that. I kind of love that, like living on the edge of the seat, kind of flying through life and seeing what happens.
Yeah, that is exciting.
I love playing Chicago. There's always a good turnout. I love playing Denver. We had a great show in LA last time, and we had a great show in New York City. I love my favorite town in America is San Francisco. It's very gentrified now, so that's not great, and it's way expensive to live. But just to go, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different unique areas. They have a cool music scene. So
There's this album that you should check out. I think you'd like it a lot. Census Fail, If There's Light, It Will Find You.
I've heard of Census Fail, but I've never really listened to them.
Their new album, I think it echoes a lot of the stuff that you say.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of music?
It's kind of a punkish pop punk rock.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'll check it out. Yeah. But yeah, touring's awesome. I really do enjoy it, and looking forward to it. So, yeah.
It's grand. My camera went out, but it's fine.
Okay. You got most of it. So,
So when's your next show?
the Murder Police are playing.
Like how much shows you got scheduled?
We've got 2 more shows in the month of June. We haven't really figured out much for July. We're playing the Plaza Film Fest in early August. That'll be cool.
Oh, nice. I was recently in the 48-hour Film Fest.
Hmm.
Do you know what it's about?
Nope.
You basically get 2 days
You know what?
to
I
write,
do.
shoot,
I have
and
heard
edit a
about
movie.
that. Yeah. My friends, I have a friend who is one of my friends, his name's Greg, and he was in one of those. It was really cool.
Yeah, so they had one recently, and they did the screenings this past weekend,
Mhm.
Friday.
Nice.
Got like we won like 2 awards: best editing and best use of prop.
Cool.
So
Congrats.
yeah, so we were just like having fun, celebrating, and trying to network with other film people.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. But yeah, so we're playing, the Murder Police are playing the 28th at Love Buzz, and then we're playing the 29th at the Fountains at Herrera. And then I have a side project called Cult Loveless, and we'll be at Ode on Saturday from 9 to 12. So, be fun.
Nice. Fountains of Herrera, is that one nice? Do you like Fountains of Herrera?
Yeah, it's a different venue.
Do you like outdoor or indoor more?
I don't have a
matter
preference.
to you?
If the weather's nice, it won't matter. And
Yeah,
it'll be like in the
'cause-
evening.
Yeah, it probably doesn't matter. But with like stand-up comedy, you like most of the time want it indoor. But one time, I performed at the San Carlos building, out there in their patio, and I got a good response. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I believe the whole indoor out thing. Maybe it's because it was a small thing and it's kind of closed off anyways. Maybe that's what made it work.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like it. I like how it's just like on a corner, and like you can just like hear the cars speeding by.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. I enjoy going to La Parada and stuff like that. So, for sure.
I am doing a show on July 21st. It's like a special teacher show.
Okay.
So I guess it's like comedians from different places that are also teachers.
Where's that at?
The comic strip, the El Paso comic strip.
Okay.
So El Paso comic strip,
That's my birthday.
July 21st.
Yep.
Wow,
It's my birthday.
nice.
Hmm.
What are you doing?
I don't know yet. I'm not sure. I was thinking about maybe going out of town for a couple of days, just getting away, but we'll see. I have no idea.
Well,
Figure
there's
out.
always the comic strip show. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if that's fun for you.
No, yeah, I mean, honestly, like I said, I really do enjoy stand-up comedy, so I'm open to it. We'll see. Be a cool way to spend a birthday.
Yeah, that's cool. And don't you feel like as you've gotten older, like why celebrate a birthday? Did you at least have that period? Do you still have that period?
I mean, it's nice to have a day where people are celebrating you. The concept of a birthday, I find is kind of silly. Just it's another 365 days. It's like, I mean, it's interesting. It's if you want to look at it in a celestial manner, like it's cool that we took a trip around the sun, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, I mean, at some point they stopped being fun. You know, when I turned 21, that was probably the last birthday where I was just like, yeah. And then once I turned 25, I was like, all right, well, I don't know if I'm gonna like this anymore. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Did your parents like set up like little birthday parties for you as a kid all
Oh yeah,
throughout?
we had a pool when I was growing up, and so we would do a lot of pool parties.
How cool was it like that one?
Yeah, similar. But yeah, for many years they would. Me and my sister hated me because my sister, she's 3 years older than me, but she was born on July 16th, and then I was born on July 21st. And so my parents, to make life easier for them, they'd often combine our birthdays, and we would share a birthday party up until I was probably like maybe 8 or 9, 10. She hated it. She wanted to have her own birthday, and then I could have my own birthday, but my parents, you know, understandably, why not combine the two and make things easier for themselves? So, yeah. And then once we got a little older, it was like, all right, you guys do your separate things. Made more sense. So.
How many siblings do you have?
Just one. Just an older sister. Yeah. Do you have any siblings?
Nope. Only child.
There's benefits to that.
I got a sister that's from my dad's side, so half sister.
Okay.
But we never lived together, so
She older?
yeah.
That's cool.
Monica, her picture's right there in the middle folder with my dad, me as a baby.
Very cool. Very cool. So she's quite a bit older than you, huh?
Yeah.
How old is she?
Not really sure.
Oh, okay. And you're like 25?
I'm 26.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. Getting old.
No, you're not. But you will someday.
I will someday. No, but like as a teacher, all the kids tell you get old. Especially, oh, you got gray hair.
Yeah. I mean, I remember being in high school and thinking 27, 28 was like ancient, you know. But then you get there and you're like, no, dude, it's still pretty young, you know. I have to remind myself that because, you know, you get older and especially as a woman, things kind of like, it gets scary. But I have to put things in perspective and realize I still have, you know, a good number of years where I'll be active and doing what I do, you know. I won't be slowing down anytime soon, so that's good to keep that in perspective as you age, I think. So I'm not old yet. I will be, but I'm not yet, so. Yep.
I think you should read The War of Art.
The War of Art.
by Stephen Pressfield.
Okay.
I got my copy right there on that bookshelf.
Cool.
It's all about overcoming like resistance whenever you're trying to make art in general.
That sounds like a good read. Sounds useful. Hell yeah.
And yeah, it's definitely helped me see things because it tells you that art, you can't just like wait for inspiration before you do anything. You actually gotta show up every day and do the work, even if nothing productive comes out of it. The fact that you're there, it invites room for the muse to enter.
Yeah, for sure. And you gotta put yourself in different unique situations too. You can't just like try to have, I mean, some people stick to a formula, but they don't really, how do you branch out and do new things like that? And so I think it's good to put yourself in unfamiliar situations or mindsets.
It's also about like transforming yourself because they say as like an actress, you got like 3 periods in your life. Whenever you're like the adorable kid, then you're like the hot, attractive person, and then you're like the old woman or whatever, and Hollywood tries to typecast you in those 3 roles. So as an artist, you got to learn to shift between those things and like shuck off the husk of what you were without identifying yourself to anything.
Yeah, that's interesting. That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm really glad you came.
I'm glad I came too. I know we've been talking about doing this for a while, and I'm sorry it's been a minute, but yeah, I'm glad I was here and I enjoyed it. So thank you.